Welcome to Mail Time, Suresh Venkat. Today we are featuring one of our final conversations from Cannes with Sameer Satpathy, CEO, Personal Care Division at ITC. As part of the jury for creative effectiveness, Sameer was the only Indian marketer to serve as a juror for the Cannes Lion this year. What did the experience teach him? And what is the road ahead for ITC's personal care brands? Let's find out as we get ready to melt with Sameer Satpathy. Sameer, you were on this year's Cannes Lion jury for creative effectiveness. What were you looking for in this year's Grand Prix winner?
You're looking for the best of the best, the outstanding entry, the thing which stands out, something which stays with you, builds memory structures, build business, builds brands, build society. Because in the end, you're looking for real impact which is sustainable and not something which goes away for in a moment. Things which maybe shifts and changes things for the better. I think society is hurting right now with 2 years of COVID, and brands have a need to step up and do things which make things better, faster.
And what is unique about a jury for effectiveness?
I think it's the purpose of advertising is to be effective.
All advertising should be
is supposed to be effective.
Yeah,
so I don't think it's unique. I think it's at the core of what we do.
Okay.
Whether we change perceptions, whether we inform people, whether we bring business outcomes, or we improve the planet. The key is how well are you able to do it, and in our case, how many different things are you able to do.
So, I mean, Indian entries seem to win a lot of awards for creativity, use of technology, data, all of that, but almost none for business impact or innovation. So is Indian advertising a bit disconnected from business reality, you think?
No, it's not. I don't think that's true. The opportunity in this case is, this is the toughest category.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, so there is, for effectiveness, there's only one category. Everybody wants to win it. This is the Grand Prix of a Grand Prix.
Okay.
So to win effectiveness, it's not only enough to be effective, you need to have a creative solution.
Okay.
So a lot of Indian advertising is going to be effective because, it drives business, but may not be creative enough. So the key is, how do you get creativity and business together?
So Sameer, what if an entry is incredibly effective, but it's not very creative, so to speak, but it does bring about a big change in society? It ticks all the other boxes that you talked about. Would that win at Cannes?
I'll tell you my point of view. It's a personal point of view. And the point of view is that we are talking about, in the end, advertising is about creativity. It is about bringing a bit of joy. It's about looking at things a little differently. And anything which is effective cannot normally be, plain vanilla. There has to be something more to it for you to remember it. It just can't be, a price discounter can be effective by just price discounting. Right? It will not be something that you want to see or you want to reward. You want to reward also new ways of doing things. You want to reward innovation. You want to reward bravery. You want to reward people who have gone against the grain. You want to reward that little guy who comes and does something so special that you look at it and you say, wow, that's great.
And speaking of going against the grain, this year's Grand Prix literally is all about grain, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's interesting to see that how the world has moved on what is expected from us. There is a time and there is a bit of debate around that, is advertising and marketing just fueling consumerism? Is it just leading to more consumption? And it is not paying enough attention to the larger issues which the planet is facing, which society is facing. I think with a win like this, I think the Grand Prix is signaling is that there is a new way of looking at brands. There is a larger way, which is a larger view. And it's about, how do you make this planet heal? How can you make this planet better? Because we are saving it for future generations. Brands are going to play a critical role, because brands are harbinger of not only emotional change in society, but also economic change. And if the economics are right, and you get the economics right, the change becomes sustainable. And it is important for companies to take cues from this across the globe and do more of it, because it's good for all of us.
Let's talk about ITC Savlon chopsticks. Now, this is not just a campaign because you created a brand new product that is chalk infused with soap. So, Sameer, is this advertising? Is it product design? Is it business strategy? Is it PR? Is it CSR? What category of activity would you classify
So again,
Savlon chalk sticks?
I think it's sometimes the advertising industry, and I accuse them of that, tries itself into knots by slicing and dicing. So these are job descriptions, which is what you've talked about. In the end, you have a brand. The brand has a certain purpose. There is a functional purpose, there is a societal purpose, there's a larger purpose to society. And how well are you able to combine all of it to make it meaningful, to make the brand meaningful? And you have to keep driving that so that the brand registers with consumers for the right reasons and they keep consuming it for the right reasons. And if you can do that, you create sustainable value for all your stakeholders. And specifically ITC, we have a triple bottom line approach, not only at a brand level, but at a corporate level. So this is something which we do. And this is what we encourage our teams to do. And I personally believe that when you have purpose in your brands, it engages all your stakeholders, whether it is the brand teams working on the brands, but also our agencies, because everybody wants to do good. And I see nobody in this world who doesn't want to do something good. We just have to enable it in a certain way that you say, hey, you can do a day job and still do something nice. So it's something which we do.
I imagine with the COVID-19 pandemic, the Savlon brand saw fantastic growth during the period. Now with the pandemic sort of seemingly at least fading away, what does it mean for Savlon?
If you look at the Indian context, and we're talking of the Indian context here, Savlon was the underdog brand, right? And the brand really leveraged the pandemic well to grow the business, to grow the brand, to increase its stature, and also to help out society when they really needed it. They brought out innovative products, were brought out. We brought it out in real time. In a month, in 2 months, we had a complete range which was available at scale in every village, in every town in India, which a lot of our competition was not able to execute. So these were both enterprise and brand strengths. The question you're asking is, what happens now?
What happens now?
We are brand people. The brand has grown. That can never grow back. So Genie is out. It's out there. It's a strong brand. It's recognized. It's there. Some of the business pieces may shrink, and they are shrinking. That is fine. But at the core brand is healthy. It's looking good. It's looking powerful. It's looking, and it's in the right place, because I think it is the emotionality of the brand is I find it very nice, because it is effective. But it's gentle. I think it's a great place for a brand to be.
Sameer, let's talk about products other than Savlon. How is ITC's other personal care products? How are they doing?
I think some of them are beautiful brands. Fiamma is doing extremely well. It's at the top end. What it has been able to do in the pandemic is able to repurpose itself. It's used digital very well. It's used e-commerce very well. A large percentage of its business comes from now e-commerce. And what it has been able to do is bring a bit of joy to consumers in the way it has done. In the end, it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's an excellent product, great for your skin, great fragrances, which gives you a bit of a mood uplift. And on top of it, we're building a brand purpose, which is about mental health, because that's one thing we saw in the pandemic, people being locked up, cooped up. These are things which, have pushed some people close to the edge. So how do we enable them as a brand? How do we give them access to help in case they require it? So at a product level, you do whatever you do, but at a larger level, can we create something more for it? I think that's something which the brand teams are working on.
Explain this connection, Sameer. Fiamma and mental health. The connection is not obvious at first sight. Tell us the brand thinking.
At a level, I can say that even if there's no connection, I think if you're doing good, you can do it. But how do we see the connection and we see it? So look at it at a very base level. Fiamma is about the joy of bathing. Different products, different colors, bright colors. If you look at the advertising, it's in the happy space, right? When you just look at the key emotional thought in the brand, it's about mood uplift.
Okay. And so that's the connection between mood upliftment
and when you don't have that
Mhm.
at a level you could be feeling a little down, so use a bit of Fiyama. But if you are clinically down, what do we do? So this is where the thing on mental health comes in, and it is sustainable because it's part of the what the brand does. Maybe it's tertiary right now, but unless you do work, how will it be connected to the brand? Right.
Okay. Let's talk about the products themselves, not the branding, not the marketing. For the longest time, soap has been soap, shampoo has been shampoo. Why aren't we seeing innovation in the product itself in these categories?
So if you look at Fiyama, and Fiyama is actually I think it's a brand whose time has come. It is actually not a soap.
Okay.
If I don't know if you've used the product, it's actually it's a frozen gel.
Okay.
It is the only product of its kind in the world.
Okay.
To make it very simplistic, in most things the soap is cooked and it's it is frozen.
Okay.
And because it is frozen, a lot of the goodness stays inside. Because a lot of the goodness is inside. It's good for you. It's good for your skin. It also there's less wastage because you're not losing anything in the process, and a lot of the thing is delivered. And because of that, even till the last bit of the soap is there. Normally, when you use soap,
waste the last bit.
One is that you waste the last bit. Also, you don't have too much fragrance and everything left. In the Fiyama soap, you'll always find it's as good as when you started off with.
One of the other innovations that you've championed is the use of neem in cleaning products.
Yes.
Are we going to see more Indian or traditional herbal products in ITC's products?
We innovate for India, and that's very core to ITC. And a lot of our work, which we are doing across our brands and our businesses, are how do we create a better ecosystem for this nation? How do we create brands? Because brands are the ones which capture value. Because unless we do that, we will have political freedom, but not economic freedom. So, and there is so much knowledge inside India. How do we commercialize it? And the use of neem is something which we all know. I don't think we have ever magnified the use of neem, right? It's been in as an emotional ingredient in some soaps, but that's it.
Never been a.
But we're a nation of $1.4 billion, 1.4 billion people.
Thinking of neem as a platform.
As a neem as a platform. Neem as a platform. Yes, yes. We've just signed up with the World Neem Organization. We are trying to build other things with it. I think these are powerful concepts. These are both from an effective point of view and from an emotional point of view.
Both.
Because when I tell you this product is made of neem, this is a floor cleaner made of neem. It's good for your children. It's good for your pets. I don't need to tell you more because you use it. And some of us have used it as a datun. We have cultural history with neem. I mean, some of us use the leaves to, and so many other things.
In food,
In food. Some of us eat, and people bathe with neem leaves, boiling neem. So it's such a great plant. It's still a jungle or a forest product in definition. So we need to use native wisdom in a manner that builds intellectual capital and brand capital for the nation.
But let's talk about the consumer now. So consumers want natural products. They want products that look good in a bottle. They want products with a reasonable shelf life and products that smell good. Now, as a marketer, are these conflicting requirements? Sometimes a great natural product may not look good or smell good. What do you do?
I think the way I'm going to answer the way I answer my teams.
Okay.
Constraints are good.
Constraints are good. Okay.
Because when you have constraints, you will innovate.
Okay.
If you are given enough time and money, you can solve any problem. The problem normally is you don't have enough time or money. So constraints help you innovate. So if you don't have constraints, you will not innovate. One of the reasons why there is a lot of good work which comes out of India is because we worked in a constrained environment. And marketeers over here really work with, we don't have too much leeway, either cost or otherwise, and they still have to build stuff. Indian consumers are demanding consumer, and we have to rise to his demands and not bring him down to our current capabilities.
Or her demands.
Or her demands. Absolutely.
Some FMCG products get a bad rap for using too much plastic, too much material, contributing to landfills. At a marketing level, what do you do to counter these perceptions?
I think it's not about perceptions. It's about what is the kind of planet we're going to leave for the next generations.
Yeah.
It's a question which worries all of us. And all of us, and specifically in ITC, we have a very large practice on material sciences. In LSTC is our life sciences R&D in Bangalore.
Okay.
And we have a very large practice which is working on alternative materials. We are working collaboratively with large companies and globally with research institutions
Okay.
to build sustainable alternatives.
Okay.
Do we have things which are in the realm of commercialization? If I talk to my R&D team, they said, yeah, we're almost ready.
Almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. But it's something which we all understand. We understand what is being asked of us. We hope like hell that we will be able to rise to the occasion.
Sameer, personal care is one of the easiest things to buy online. Soaps and shampoos is not that tough. There's no fit or there's no sort of customization that's required. How does one build a brand online?
I have a slightly different point of view. Women are very purposive in the way they buy their brands. They do not buy any brand for skin and hair and apply it. They really think through their purpose.
Okay. So it's only us men who just go and say soap and shampoo and we just buy the first thing
Men
that we
tend
get.
to use, at least Indian men, and whatever data I've seen last, tend to use what's in the loo. So if wife buys the shampoo, you kind of use that. So very few Indian men go and buy a shampoo for themselves. At max is an anti-dandruff shampoo. So that's about it. But you're right in saying that there are some change in dynamics which we see because of the online space. So consumers are a little more open. The premium consumers are a little more open to trying new things. They do try it. The key is, but you must understand, we are not in the trial business. We're in the repeat business.
Mhm.
You have to build great brands are built
That
when
people
consumers
want to buy
repeat.
over and over
So
again.
the question over there is, are consumers repeating it for the right reasons? Because you might try it. Doesn't mean anything.
Speaking of premiumization, one of the things that Indian companies have not been able to do perhaps is create premium fragrances. Is there a market that ITC would be looking at exploring?
Actually, we are doing that. So we are looking at upgrading the Indian market. We have a range of perfumes which have come at now at a 500 rupee price point,
Mhm.
at a 1,000 rupee price point, and we think there is an Indian market. As much as there is a market for Scotch in India, there's a market for premium fragrances in India.
At those price points, 500 and 1,000 or?
At 500,000, but the key over there is going to be is the Indian consumer, being the Indian consumer, wants great value at that.
Mhm.
So the challenge over there is how can we create an ecosystem which way we can produce best in class fragrances which compete with the best in the world at Indian prices. So that's the challenge we've set ourselves.
And who do you think competes with you in this business?
Right now,
Titan would be the obvious one.
we would want more competition because we are at the stage of market development.
Mhm.
And if there are 2 or 3 players or 4 players who aggressively try and develop this segment, it'll grow
The
faster.
pie will actually
The
grow.
pie
for
will.
every-
It's
grow
about
for
growing the
everybody.
pie in India. It's not about competing. It's about making it more popular.
One of the things that the pandemic brought out quite a bit is germs, microbes, bacteria, and we have conflicting information. On one hand, you say, please clean everything, wash everything, wipe everything. On the other hand, people say, no, if you over clean your house, you actually reduce immunity. In this sort of shifting sands, how do you as a marketer position the future of the brand?
So I think it's great that we're on television and we can talk about it. The debate, the problem sometimes which happens is that information is taken out of context.
Mhm.
So what you are referring to is that over sanitization and living in an absolutely sterile environment reduces immunity.
Mhm.
Actually, in India, we don't have that problem. This is a problem in some developed Western European kind of countries, maybe some parts of the US. We don't have that issue.
Mhm.
Our issue still is that we live in a slightly aggressive environment wherein hygiene can be a little variable, especially in public spaces.
Mhm.
We still need to do a lot over there. And I don't think 1.4 billion Indians have complete access to what I would say is minimum sanitation and health and hygiene. So there are a lot of work still left. And then it's a bit of a sorry state at the bottom of the pyramid because we lose people, children die because of lack of basic hygiene,
Mhm.
and it comes from lack of affordability, lack of awareness,
Mhm.
and the environments which sometimes they have to encounter, which can be very hostile. So a lot of work still needs to be done in our
These
country.
are the kind of things that brands with purpose, or the kind of purpose that a brand could actually intervene and make a difference in.
I think I would make a larger point is that it's our society, it's our country, and we need to improve it. If we don't do it, who's going
Not
to do
just
it?
as a brand, as citizens, as government.
As some,
all of that.
because if we are not ready to do that, who's going to come and do it? Nobody's going to come and clean up our mess. We have to do it on our own.
All right, let's end this interview with a couple of questions about your presence at Cannes this year. It's been 2 years, you're back at Cannes. Any new learnings this year from your interaction in the jury, the work that you've seen? Anything you'll take back with you?
I think the concern on environment, the concern on diversity, the concern on inclusion, the usage of technology to be inclusive than to be exclusive. I think these are large themes which are emerging. They were there, you sensed it, but now it's in the
Front and
open.
center.
It's in the open. I think the world is changing. At one end, you are getting to be very techy. At the other end, you're also going back to Mother Earth and saying, can we replenish her? Can we get it back to a pristine kind of space where it was? So it's interesting.
ITC used to send a large delegation of its, I would imagine, younger management executives to Cannes. Is Cannes still a great learning opportunity for execs at ITC?
It's a great learning opportunity, and it's not about execs at ITC, but I think for young people, and you're exposed to the best in the world right at the beginning, your bench on what is best gets established, right? I think with the more we do of it, the better it is.
All right, Sameer, last question. If I were to raid your, not your beauty cabinet, but your personal cabinet, what products would I find there?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything, all ITC brands
What
would be there,
brands would I find there?
but the Fiamma, the Savlons, the Vivels, the Engage, the Senzas, everything would be
Would I
there.
find any non-ITC brands there?
No.
All right.
Nobody's allowed to do that.
All right, true brand loyalist.
Absolutely.
Sameer Satpathy, thank you for talking to us at Melt.
Thank you very much, Suresh. Lovely.
Pleasure. That's a wrap on this episode. You can follow Melt on social media. The handle is Ready to Melt, or simply log on to readytomelt.com. If you'd like to follow me, it's @Suvenk on Twitter. Till next week, goodbye and thanks for watching.